Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Two-Way Street.
It's the Two-Way Street, though.
I've got my good friend Abe over there.
What's good, everybody?
Abe, well, this is one of the first times that people can see behind you of the weather conditions that we are dealing with here.
It's light out already, dog.
I know it's light out. I'm talking about the other brightness that's happening out there. There's this stuff that falls. Here. Oh, yeah. I know you don't want to talk about it because we're inside enjoying our Starbucks.
100.
We've been recording here at Starbucks for the past couple of weeks. And, I don't know. I like this environment.
It
just looks way better. Makes the YouTube look more dynamic. So that's what we're looking for. Yeah. We do have a YouTube for those that don't know. It's at 2A Street Media is what you look for on YouTube over there.
Yeah.
So how was your week there, Abe?
It's been all right, you know what I'm saying? Just a normal kind of week. Ain't not much going down and everything. And just enjoying my life, trying to, live my best life. You feel me?
Oh, man. That seems like such a simple goal, yet so many people have a hard time accomplishing that. Just live simply and enjoy life.
Yo.
I mean, it seems like it's so difficult.
You know why, though? The thing is that a lot of times we try to live with above our means. Oh. And so with that comes a lot of stress.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I'm saying? And then when you get that stress, you can't really enjoy life. You can't live your best life right now.
Yeah, for sure. And it's actually a really good segue. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm a little bit scruffier than normal.
I see you, though.
Yeah,
I see you.
And it wasn't really intentional. I wasn't planning on coming in today without presenting myself properly for you. Because I respect you, right? And you kind of know if somebody let themselves slide, So I apologize. But I mean, it turned into a good segue because I saw this social media feed, and then as well when you're talking about comparing yourself to others and whatnot, there was this post that came up about time, and how people use it. So the example was that Barack Obama ended politics at age 55, but Reagan started in his 60s, kind of thing. So in comparison of time, they're not really competing with each other on the same scale, even though they had the same title. So the context was, don't worry about your time and comparing it to other people, because yours is your own. Everybody's in different time zones, doing different things at different times. And even though you exist on the same planet, your timelines are completely separate, kind of thing. And it was just really interesting. So why it's a segue is because this took me a whole 5.5 days, whereas this might be you tomorrow morning.
I'm telling you, dog, on 100, right? You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? And I really appreciated the context of that, because we do go out there and compare so often with each other.
Yeah.
And who are we fighting against? Who are we racing against? And all that kind of stuff. And I just want your take on, when you use your time in a day, I'm not convinced that your 8 hours is the same as my 8 hours in regards to what we accomplished, what we're trying to do.
Not.
Physically, our bodies probably experience different time. They say that dogs take, 7 years of age for every human year of age. So should we compare our time to other people? And how does time work for you? Do you look at somebody and base things on time?
See, the thing is that right here, that first of all, I'm in competition with my own self. You know what I'm saying? I don't look at anybody else to see how they're doing and stuff, because that one thing right there will bring depression. It will bring pressure that's unnecessary. The best thing of doing things is that, are you in a better off spot than you was last year?
Right.
So you're in March right now. Was February the best month yet? Comparing it to last month. You know what I'm saying? To your own self. You don't got to look at anybody else. Because looking at everybody else, that brings a distraction. You know what I mean? As a creative, you always want to look back and say, how did I do best? And did I do my best in this month right here? And you keep on growing that way. That's the only thing that I do.
Well, and it's interesting is that, do we put too much pressure on ourselves to make it better than yesterday? Instead, you know what I mean? Where do we get into the thing of, well, I got to be better every day and all that, but at what point is excelling every day without taking a day of rest or something going to be too much pressure again for even the competition?
Man, I like that right there. See, the thing is that you got to know yourself. You got to know who you is. You got to know your limits. You got to know when you're getting lazy. You got to know when you're really pushing yourself. You feel me? Like, there's some times where I'm trying to read something and I just know my brain can't take it anymore.
Right.
And I'm wondering, how do somebody of academic background like you do it? You know what I'm saying? Spend, like, say, an hour reading. I can't do that. You know what I mean? So my brain gets fried real quick. So I got to understand that I can't push myself past a certain limit because I'm just really going through the pages. But if I know that 30 minutes is the real time that I have to saturate my brain with knowledge, then I'm good with it. You know what I mean? Because this is when I don't like where you're asking the question. How do you? Sometimes you pressure yourself now to say, I got to do better. I got to do better.
Yeah.
But you got to know your limits and stay within them.
Well, and it's funny because it automatically lends to that. If what you're doing is actually making you worse by burning yourself out, then you've already answered your question: are you better than yesterday? No, because I read too much, which doesn't make sense. But all right, I read too much, and now I'm not better because I've not fried my brain to be able to be high functioning for the next thing that I'm going to be doing.
Absolutely,
man, time is tough because we don't know tomorrow if today was our last day together.
Right.
And that's a scary thought. And that's why we're always fighting with time, yet competing with ourselves and everybody else. And you brought up an interesting point two things ago is making yourself better and utilizing your time correctly for that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't intending on bringing it into this conversation, but what's your reference for being a better person tomorrow than today? Where do you get your reference material from to say, I'm a better person because this is how I follow. This is the instruction book that I've been given.
That's how I know that I'm a better person. Is how I treat the fellow people that I got around me.
Right.
The time that I use, if I put value on my time, say for example, a dollar value on my time, then I'm going to be careful on how much time I spend on certain things. For example, if I'm traveling and if it's cheaper, if it might be a little bit expensive for me to get into that first class, but then if I'm gonna put a value amount on that to say, at least when I get to where I'm going, I'm gonna be well rested. You know what I mean? And I can get on my grind. Then I'm gonna do that. You feel me? But then if I'm just one of them cats that are just like, I'm just getting there. It don't matter. I'm just still gonna get there. You get there, you're tired. You can't really present the stuff that you're gonna do and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So if you put a dollar amount, or if you put if you really value your time and see that you are putting in action, you're putting in work. You'll always find that you're a better person.
Well, and that's the thing is that I really like actually how you tied it in there and using an airplane ticket or whatnot as the example. Is because there are people out there that think that because I'm successful and have money that I'm a good person or I'm a better person. So you see, because that's where I was going to go with it. Is that it's what is the reference, right? And then for us, our reference is, and I don't know if we have to overall, it starts to look that way, but we have a reference that says, love other people as you love your own and all that. That's our reference. That's fine. I used to think that was a human reference, that being good to other human beings makes you a better person, but I'm not seeing it as much anymore. So the point that I'm getting at there is that I don't believe that everybody anymore has the same level of reference of how to be a better person, to follow it every day, to know that they're driving towards it, because it does seem that society has told us that we're better if we're rich, we're better if we have 1,000 likes a day, we're and that's the thing that I'm concerned about, is that sure, our time is valuable to however we use it, but that better reference, I think, is a very blurry line these days. Where are people getting their information of what makes you a better person?
See, the ultimate guide would be the Bible. You know what I'm saying? If you can pattern up your life to say, love my brother, that's good there. Help somebody. So you're not just throwing a dollar figure on it, but you're actually going into the field to help somebody.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? You see somebody homeless out there, you're not going to judge them. You feel me? But you're actually going to help them out and be a brother or a sister to that person right there. These are the fundamentals, or the easy go-to situation right there, because society is redefining a lot of things right now.
And that's the thing that I'm getting at, is that I was not really part of a conversation, but I was an observer of a conversation that was happening that, actually, I think it's Mr. Gervais that says it online, and it's actually quite a good explanation, is that I believe he's an atheist. I'll have to fact check myself on everything, but he was talking to just one of the late night show hosts, and he says, listen, science, if you got rid of all the science that we know of today, within 1,000 years, humans will have confirmed science, right? We will be able to take a look at it and say, this is how we make planes fly. This is, how we get heat from the sun. We would have redesigned those books. But with the Bible, if you throw all religious text away, in 1,000 years, would we be at the same spot? Right? I know. Just bear with me on that. And that's the thing is that, so you're talking about seeing some homeless guy on the street, right? You and I are compelled to help because we see things from a different lens.
That's right.
Okay, be good to other humans.
Yep.
If we were to reset everything today and we take just the humans that we have today with no reference of what's correct, not correct, how to treat other humans, I think we'd be going the other direction much quicker than if we didn't have this kind of foundational group of people that are trying to uphold the foundations of be better to each other. Yeah. Because power corrupts, money corrupts, and all that. So sorry, I've been talking for a long time.
No, you go ahead, dog.
It's just, so it was just interesting to hear that thing about get rid of all biblical text and where would we be? And that's concerning for me. Yeah. Because I don't think people know which direction to go. I mean, this is that land of the lost now that we're talking about, where people don't have this moral and spiritual compass, to aim them towards the right things, because people are just abusing each other. They're using money. They're drinking. I mean, our drug-related deaths are crazy these days. I mean, you can't tell me that makes me a better person today or tomorrow by wrecking my body that way. Right. So I'm really concerned about the state of how people are using their time and what reference point they're using as being better people.
See, like we all we are called to be the light. You know what I'm saying? And in being the light, you are showing a different way of living, a different way of believing, a different way of talking, a lot of different things. You know what I mean? So with that being said, when we see how society is going and we can confirm that, these things right here, they're not helping society in any way. This is where we got to come in and be active in our communities. Excuse me. Be active in our communities, because if we're not active, then the opposite is going to win. Yep. You know what I mean? The negative is going to win, and then we're just sitting back here and thinking that, oh man, yeah, I have the truth, or I believe in the truth and stuff, and we just click with the people that believe in what we believe, and we're supposed to go out there and be the light. And you might just reach to one person, and the next person is reaching to 1 million. It don't matter, you know what I mean? Because you're doing what you do to help out the community.
And that was the thing that. I've been really struggling with that thought of getting rid of all the text of what it, the blueprint of what it means to be a good human. And I'm still convinced that out of a group of 10 people, that if they just went in there blind, so I'm thinking desolate tribes or something like that, in places that are untouched by religion and faith as we know it, there's always going to be at least one or two people that are always looking out for others. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, just it's ingrained in us that we don't necessarily need the book to sit there and say, hey, be good to each other. Right. And that's the thing is, I mean, you watch it on Survivor and all those other reality TV shows that somebody's always just a good person. Yeah. It doesn't matter what their background is. I mean, I know some really good people that are doing the right things for society and bettering themselves. That are not faith followers at all. Right. So... with
that right there, using the example of Survivor, is that you always find the good people, and then the bad people are plentier than the good people. Yeah. And then the bad people they tend to corrupt the good people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then it just turned up under the guise of it's just a game. You know what I'm saying? But then at the end of the day, there is a good in all of us, but then when we are around corrupt people, it can be easy to get corrupted because you're not feeding on the positivity. This is why we got to surround ourselves with people that are better than us, people that think greater than us, you know what I mean? Because then we can just morph into that, but if we surround ourselves with negativity, it's easy. Like, look at that Survivor now. They're there for what, 39 days or whatever?
Yeah, I don't even know.
And that's enough time to get corrupted. Yeah. It's enough time because you don't have no resources out here to feed you to think different.
And yet Jesus was tempted for 40 days and still didn't give up. I now I want to check that to see how long Survivor is. 39 days, just long enough to not be Jesus. That'd be a good reference, man.
What hundo, you know what I mean?
No, but you're right. Is that, I mean, your environment determines on who you are and who you become, and there has to be that reference. So in that context, the biggest problem that we run into as faith followers is that there are some people that understand what we're trying to do for society and be better people.
Yeah.
And then it kind of gets to the extreme, though, is that I don't need this fairy tale God, though, to tell me how to be a good person. Do you think there's a balance? And I don't mean it this way, because what some people will hear me say is there Jesus without God?
Uh-huh.
Right? Because Jesus is our poster boy for what it means to be a good person to those around, right? But it's hard to convince people to follow Jesus without bringing in the God, divine creator thing, right? And so a lot of people get turned off of what it means to be a good example without thinking that they have to continue to follow along to the God thing as well. Do you think there's a balance that we can find with people to say, listen, I don't need you to yet worry about God and the whole divine creation and all that, but just take a look at the Beatitudes even from the Sermon on the Mount and model your life after that. Be meek, be humble. Is there a way?
There is a way, because what's the difference between Deepak Chopra writing a book, you know what I'm saying, about whatever stuff he's writing, and then somebody says this is a fairy tale God or something like this, you know what I mean? And what's the difference there? The difference, if you say that, all right, this is a fairy tale, just give it a try, read it. You know what I mean? Just like I would read a Deepak Chopra book, you know what I'm saying, and take some stuff from it. I'm like, well, okay,
So just for those who may or may not know, when you're talking about Deepak, does he or does he not subscribe to the Holy Bible?
I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither. but I see what you're talking about, right? Because it's a reference point.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
So if you as a human are looking at Deepak, or you're looking at Oprah, or you're looking at somebody who wrote a book that they're talking about the 10 steps or whatever.
Tony Robbins and all those guys.
Exactly. So then if I'm looking at a Bible or a book that I'm saying, man, this is good. I'm learning to love my brother. I'm learning to forgive. I'm learning to let go.
Because those are lessons those guys teach.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then why I can't read that, even though it's an ancient book, so as to speak, you know what I mean? I could get a lot from that if my mind was open.
I love this, man, because this is exactly a conversation that some people need to hear.
Yeah.
Right? Because they will not at all hesitate to pick up the latest Dragon Den book
100.
and learn how to do business better.
100.
But as soon as you add God to it, they suddenly turn everything else as a
because a lot of times too is that people don't want this invisible person to be the Lord of their life. You know what I'm saying? So then it's just like, I'm not going to listen to this person. I'd rather listen to this person that I can go to their shows, or I can watch them on YouTube and stuff like this. But then the thing is this right here, that if you are subscribing to a person, a human being, that you're seeing their faults and all of that stuff, how about this great being, who we call God, that we're looking at and say he's infallible or whatever. Just taste and see. Give him a chance. Give the book a chance. Read it through. If you think it's ancient, there is some books.
There's lots of relevant,
Yeah, there's a lot of relevant stuff, and there's a lot of books right now, or Bible translations that you can that are understandable.
No, I think I got it figured out though. It's simple. So we take the Holy Bible, get rid of Genesis. Problem solved, right? Because I'm just kidding for all those faith followers out there, but you know what I mean though, is you've totally nailed on it. It's almost to the point where it's just like, let's shut down the episode and just tell people to take a look at the Bible from a Tony Robbins, be a better person perspective. Because
it's going to change you.
It will change you. It will change you,
Yeah.
not because of the God factor, but because of the be a better human factor. And it's so frustrating to see that they want to dismiss everything else within because they choose not to be open-minded about this other portion.
And the other thing too is a blame on Christians, because they have brought out this perfect that you have to do this, stop this, stop that, and then in the background they doing the same thing. You feel me? So then somebody grew up in the church, or they grew up as a pastor's kid, and the pastor's preaching, love your wife and stuff like this, and then go back home and disrespecting their mother. You know what I'm saying? So then you grow up, you're like, nah, you're a liar. You feel me? And so it's about being vulnerable. Now they say, yo, listen, man, I ain't there. I'm trying to do the things the Bible's saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I ain't there yet.
Yeah.
You feel me? And it ain't gonna stop me from speaking the truth.
Yeah.
Even though I know that I'm not there yet.
You know, I think we should actually, once we get enough time, I actually posted on our Facebook page an apology that we hadn't had a chance to update that lately because we've just been so busy doing stuff.
Yeah.
And so when we get back around to fact checking and doing things, I would actually like to create a reference of, this is what Tony Robbins says. This is what the Bible says. And I bet they're really similar.
Yeah.
And then back to your point about, Christians, and we uphold these things and all the time, and there's all these demands and things that we have to uphold. You look at it the other side, and I bet all the time Tony Robbins isn't the perfect person that he says that he always is, right? I mean, you and I have said it many times in our podcast that we're not always what we say you should be out there. We
100.
know that we have flaws. We look at some youth programs and take that and say, I like that. And then we look at ours and say, I don't like that. Right?
Yes.
Why is it that when it comes to the Bible, that everybody looks at that and says, that right there, that right there.
It's the fear. It's the fear.
But they don't do that to Tony Robbins.
It's the fear of not measuring up. You know what I'm saying? If somebody
don't.
If somebody comes through and says you're gonna be rich, at least if I'm gonna be wealthy and stuff, at least I have a measuring point to say, you know what, I can work hard and get that there. You know what I'm saying? But then when it comes to say that love, it's a difficult thing. You feel me? Because loving somebody who hates me, it ain't easy. You feel me? So it's one of those things where it's like, it's natural. It's easier for me to take this 10 steps to get wealth than it is for me to love somebody. You know what I mean? And so there's that measurement right there.
You know, and this is fascinating. I don't know how we got from time to here. But we also never hear about the times that somebody read, and sorry, Tony Robbins, I'll tag you and hopefully you can follow us. But nonetheless, you never hear the times that somebody went through a Tony Robbins program and then becomes a Tony Robbins atheist. You know what I mean? Where they go around advertising after, Tony Robbins, he's a sham, he's a, all this kind of stuff. If it didn't work for them, it didn't work for them.
Yeah.
But when you try faith and it doesn't work for you, the world knows. The world knows that God let you down.
Yeah.
And I'm fascinated by this mentality now, right? Because, I mean, there are lots of, Billy Graham people, followers out there and all that stuff. And they never went, Billy Graham didn't work for me and all that. But yet, Christianity as a whole has that thing. And even Muslims and all that, you don't see too many of them out there being atheist Muslims, if you know what I mean, where they go, the Quran just didn't work for me kind of thing. You know, like you see them converting between faiths and all that kind of stuff. But Christianity has this particular vice attached to it where people are, that didn't work. And then they invest all their stock on hating Christianity, not even hating faith. Yeah. Right? And I'm just really fascinated. I'm having a hard time articulating what I'm trying to go for here, is because it's the one book that solves it all is also the one with the most criticisms on it. Even though the book beside it, being a Tony Robbins book or a self-help book, says the exact same thing.
Right, and like what we have to know though is that the Bible is a book that will definitely bring out a lot of things out of us, because it's a mirror that we're looking at and we're trying to be like, and so if we don't measure up, we're gonna either hate it or we're gonna love it. If you look at somebody that you want to be like, and you don't measure up, or you just like you try and you're not getting there, you're going to end up either being inspired or hating on that person. So then we have to move away from this saying like, they're going to hate on Christianity, but let's move people to the relationship with Jesus. Because when you move into that relationship, then you know that it's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be times that you're not feeling like it. If the reason why people hate Christianity, a lot of people hate Christianity, is because it's a blanket thing right there. But let's move into that relationship with Jesus, where we actually really focus on that and build on that. Anything else is going to fail. You know what I mean?
Well, and you made a reference to it earlier, is that a lot of times, I mean, I go through troubles every day. I go through temptation every single day. And you made a point about it earlier, is that what you surround yourself with is what creates you.
100.
So we make a choice, even though it's not completely necessary to have Jesus beside us every day
Yeah.
as our reference point. That if I was about to do something, to know that whether you believe he's material or not, having this reference point standing beside me to check myself when I'm not thinking straight is way better than hanging out with your old buddy from high school, that's going to be like, it's all good, man. It's a pack of bubble gums.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And do you think it's hard for people to understand that, or do they just not want to think? I mean, Pinocchio had Jiminy Cricket, but everybody believed that was okay to have this talking grasshopper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that why don't people want to take that next step to just believe that you have a reference point in everything that you do?
We need to bring somebody who thinks that way. You know what I mean? So we can pick their brain, because it's hard for me to relate to that. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, I've always believed that there is somebody with me. You know what I mean? And so for somebody else who might feel like, I don't need somebody. I don't need that. It's difficult too.
Yeah, because we need a straight up atheist.
Yeah.
Because even before I converted, I always thought there was more to life, more to the world, and I used to just call it the universe.
Uh-huh.
The universe will bless me with things,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff, and that there had to be something greater than what we understand.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty easy transition to finding out and figuring out that was God at the
Absolutely.
end of the day talking to me. So I agree with you. Is that and we're not looking for somebody that's gonna debate with us.
No, it's not.
We just need.
We just want to understand it exactly.
And I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I can speak from an agnostic point of view, but I can't speak from an atheist point of view. But it's always been relatively easy for me to understand or think that there were external forces that not necessarily control, but have influence on the way that we do things on this planet. And it'll be a really interesting talk.
It'll be interesting, man.
And it's funny because we always end up in the circles, and again, this is likely intentional. We end up in the circles of those healthy, wholesome people that share our same beliefs. But that's why now we as Christians look like we're part of this clique, this exclusive club, because we're choosing to be in the groups of those that are bathed in light.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it looks like an exclusive club that nobody's welcome into.
Yeah.
But that's not the truth of it either, though, man. I mean, this is an interesting spot that we're in here, because I alluded to it on one of the other podcasts where me and you now look like we're this Christian clique together, this Christian podcast or something. So nobody else is allowed in. So then now we go find some other friends, and then now we're part of another group that looks exclusive. And then the clique just ends up getting bigger and bigger, which I guess is good.
Yeah.
Because then we want a planet full of people that just get
along.
What?
Like, the thing is that right here, when you build circles of people that want to be great, you're obviously going to click. You know what I mean? That's why it's called a click. You know what I mean? And so when you click like that, you want to grow that circle, because if I have a friend who's an electrician, I would like to find a plumber out here.
Yeah.
I'd like to find a builder.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just build a wholesome group of people that will take us to the next phase. Because then in that, we're going to start saying, hey, why don't we build a house?
Yeah.
We got an electrician right here. We got a plumber right here. We got somebody who can do blueprints. Let's move on to something bigger.
Okay.
And we don't always got to see things eye to eye.
Yeah.
It's that level of respect and understanding that we have a common goal, which is to be rich, for example, or to save people, or to whatever the goal is. You're going to have people that are going to come together, and we might not see eye to eye on certain deep things, but still, we got to respect each other.
And we got a job to do, and things need to be accomplished.
We got a job to do.
Here.
100.
And then that's the thing is that's a great analogy that you just used about getting a group of people together, regardless of faith background.
Yeah.
And you got to get a job done.
Yeah.
So why is it so hard to plop something that you can't physically see at this moment beside you and have that person as part of your clique? You know what I mean? Like, why is that suddenly such a long stretch as to suddenly be like, all right, cool, now I'm just walking along?
I think it's also the way that the person has been presented to the peoples. You know what I'm saying? Because we can present God as this person that really hates people or whatever, you know what I mean? This person who wants you to stop this, stop that, or if we present him in a different light, like, he loves you no matter what.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this is what brings people to that relationship now, because you're like, man, I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
But he still loves me. He's still going hard for me, and I like that. You know what I mean? But then when we bring out a different level of like I use the situation that you had brought up, that when we are successful, we we talk to people from that point of view of being successful, but then we forget that we had started from nowhere. So then we have to come down to nowhere and understand that, oh man, how would I have felt if somebody had come to me and told me stop this, stop that? It was hard. You know what I mean? But then when I knew that, I don't want to hurt somebody feeling, then it's going to automatically help me out to say, I got to stop this, not because I'm being forced to stop it, but because I want to stop it, because I don't want to hurt this person. You know what I mean?
It's one of the thoughts that just popped in there is when we're walking down the street, I'd love to say most, but some, you see a homeless guy, you offer him even a hello. Let's not even get into a dollar or a sandwich. That homeless person is going to appreciate and respect that and take that as a lesson of, hey, there are good people out in this world and all that. And some people, when they're down, are also okay with taking some kind of handout, whatever it is, when somebody comes along to help out. So these days we're surrounded in snow, you get your truck stuck, you have to call for help. So if a human comes to show up and helps you out, you appreciate it. But when Jesus shows up to help you, you reject it. And I'm still having a hard time understanding the perspective here on how something that can completely benefit you in more ways than you can understand is so easily rejectable compared to humans just doing human stuff for human,
Because when it comes to God, you're like, I did it. You know what I mean? Because then what reference point do I have if I'm an unbeliever to say God did it? For you and me, it's easy to say, yeah, it was God. You know what I mean? But if a person comes, I'm like, yeah, it was Aaron who helped me. But then if it's somebody who I don't see, it's me who did it. You feel me? So then there's the difference right there now where it's like, if you don't train or teach people, then always going to be like, I did that. You know what I mean? I couldn't figure how to work out that math problem. I did that. But if it's somebody who comes through and helps me, they did that.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Is that people have a real hard time giving credit to others, and unless the facts are absolutely true, right? And I've caught myself sometimes doing this. So I work with a guy, and we get things done, and I don't mean that from a bragging thing. It's just that we get things done. When he completes something, we did it. When I complete something, I did it. So, and you made me realize this just now, is because we don't always give credit where credit is due.
100,
right. And I don't do that intentionally. As far as I know, I don't do it intentionally. Like, it's not a conscious decision. I've lately been better at saying we for everything. But I'm not very good at giving an individual that praise.
Let me tell you something. For people who've been in power, it's difficult for them to give credit to somebody who is under them, who's working for them. So you hear somebody say, they work for me, for example. When you don't even own the company, yet you're telling somebody that they work for me.
Yeah, because you're just the guy that's in control,
100
or whatever.
I don't work for you.
Direction.
You know what I'm saying? You couldn't afford to pay me. We're just co-workers out here in the streets. You know what I'm saying? They say you go into somebody's street and they say, oh, whose time is it that you're doing these things from? Because you just because I'm the manager, I must ask you the question: whose time is it? It's the company time, not your time.
That's right.
You feel me? So then when we kind of shift away from that to say, you know what, this is my coworker right here. I might have a little bit seniority. I might be the manager or whatever, but we're still coworkers, and we're working for the big man who can choose to say, yo, leave.
That's right.
You feel me? That will humble us to the point now where we're like, you know what, it's a group effort right here.
No, man, you're getting all Michael Jackson on me, and I'm doing a man in the mirror right now. I'm just, and I'm gonna apologize openly to my coworker, because I have been getting better, but I definitely know when, even just my initial thought process is what needs to change. It's not whether or not I think of that and then change what I say in order to accommodate and look more. I know what my initial thought process is, right? So I like what you're talking about there, because unless you are the owner of the company,
you have no right.
You have no right.
Because at the end of the day, too, it's like I've talking to somebody like they said, oh, this is my time. I'm like, it's not your time. You can't afford me. You know what I mean? You're just working. You're at the mercy of somebody else. You feel me? If you could pay my bills and everything, and you're the one who signs my check,
then I owe you.
Back 100. You know what I mean? So then it's humbling. You gotta be humble. People gotta be humble out here in the streets. Just because you have, again, a little bit more knowledge than the next person. Be humble.
Sure. Now that negative coworker that we all have, what would he have told you right then and there? Man, screw this, man. You know, let's go take a lunch break. Let's go 15 minutes early. This is our time. This is my time. You know, why do I got to work so hard for this? You know what I mean? But that's talking about surrounding ourselves with 100, the right positive influence.
Like if I know that this person that I'm working with, that I'm in, that I'm daily working with on a daily, if I know that they respect me, they see me as somebody who's worthy or who's what the time, it changes my whole attitude. You feel me? But then when I see that, they're trying to be who they're not supposed to be, it's just going to force me to get into that spot where I'm like, you know what? I want you to fail. I definitely want you to fail. You know what I'm saying? Because you acting up, dog. You better be humble 100. You know what I mean? Because if you ain't humble, I want you to fail. So I can be on the spot and then show everybody else that, you know what, we're a team right here.
Well, and that's quite interesting. I mean, we're running, it's going to run short here pretty quick, but do you think it's a mechanism for us that when somebody is holding back our success, that we're trying to get rid of them because we want to be next to more positive people, or is it more selfish than that?
So if I notice that, you're holding my success, you know what? I'm going to have to work harder to prove to the people, whoever it is that watching me, who are the bosses, that I'm capable of doing the things that I'm going to do. And believe it, people see.
They do.
They know. They see that, you know what, this cat right here, there might be the one who's running the show, but there is a cat right down there who's doing all the work.
That's right.
I'll give you an example. There was a cat out in Toronto. He had a good job. But he was able to work on his own. But he used to go with this other cat who wasn't employed by that company. And the cat that wasn't employed by the company was the one doing the work. And the other cat was just chilling in the vehicle, right? And then they ended up realizing it. They fired the cat who was employed by them and got this guy who was doing all the work.
Brought him on.
You know what I mean? So then this is the things that happen in that if we humble, sometimes you know exactly what you're doing. And you know that, man, I knows what I'm doing.
See, but then there we're at again is that there's certain people that do things because they're not being watched, right? Or believe that they're not being watched. It's so easy. Well, not so easy because we still stumble on it, but it's a lot easier for us to think that we're being watched all the time and then using that as a reference point, though. You know what I mean? Is it...
it's as easy. Let me show you. Hey, Aaron. It's as easy as saying, "This my people. This my guy."
I'm representing our people here.
So if I walk, if I'm having a conversation right here, we're sitting down, and then say your coworker comes in, and then you say, "Oh yeah, this is my guy. He works for me." You know what I'm saying? That's so degrading.
It is.
It's very degrading because you're thinking like, "Come on now, you're gonna call me your guy." You're going to call me, you know what I mean, that I work for you when we work for this big organization.
That's right.
What the heck is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
That simple respect of saying that, that's my coworker. I would feel good. I feel real good. You know what I'm saying? But then the moment that somebody comes through and says, that's my guy, he works for me. Man, I'm thinking
I at least don't reference this guy like that. We're definitely, when it gets introduced, coworkers kind of thing. It's just when it comes to that accountability chain. I want to know that I'm the liability and the direct conduit, but I don't want to take credit for our work together.
100.
100. I don't know, I'm getting old. Sometimes it just doesn't trigger right. I don't know. Man, Abe, I really appreciate your thoughts on this one. It's this is almost one that you can have a panel of people getting together and just kind of absorbing the thoughts of what people think about, how it's easy to listen to somebody physically that's not preaching the gospel but is still preaching all the good things. You know what I mean? Or holding an individual to be our accountability partner instead of something you can't physically see. It's just, they're very fine details, but yet they cause so many divided lines here.
Come on now.
So we'll have to find a way to swing back around to this one because
we'll swing
really
back
wholesome
again.
conversation that we had there. For those that are listening down in the States, have a look at the YouTube channel and notice the snow out there, and just be glad that you're not here. Maybe maybe y'all should invite us down, or all y'all, I think is how you say it down there. Invite us down to enjoy some nice either Florida or San Francisco weather. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check. Maybe they're under weather problems too. I don't know. We'll have to check it out. But we were the 2A Street.
2A Street.
I've got Abe across from me.
What's good with everybody?
He's at abemaweo.com and at Conversations with Abe. You can find him the same place you find us is iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play Music. Y'all have a great day.
Yeah.